So Rogue versus Warlock. It's hopefully going to be a really interesting game. It should be probably mid-range Warlock, as we said. So we're going to be having, yeah.
There's the Mistress of Pain, so, and Abusive Surgeon, so that kind of shows you that will be the mid-range Warlock. And so now the game plan of Rogue will be to gather the burst in your hand to like finish the Warlock in one big sweep, I think. Or
that would be probably the ideal way, but I really like the Violet Teacher here. It's probably one of the most important cards in Oil Rogue to be able to establish some board presence.
Very important card. I think like when the Oil Rogue is playing against control decks, the most important thing is to maintain at least one creature on board.
Yeah, just to consistently have pressure and not have to reset, because the hero power of the Rogue really doesn't allow it to, you know, just capitalize. It helps it, you know, when they have a good foothold on the board, it's amazing, but when they've got nothing, using Deadly Poisons to clear away minions doesn't really do much.
Yep, exactly. Oh, BM heal.
Oh, well. So, there's an anti-heal bot in that Oil Rogue, and I really do like that choice from Reynad, because I've seen, you know, some players use Earthen Ring Farseers, 2 of them, but I feel, I don't know if he's running 2 Earthen Rings or just the 1, but I like the addition of a single slot being dedicated to a heal bot. It's a huge chunk of healing for a single card slot.
Oh, second Violet Teacher. But yeah, you're right. The anti-heal bot brings a lot of value in very huge amount of matchups for the Rogue. But the problem is, it's a 5-drop. So what do you drop from your deck just to, you know, put that anti-kill bot in? So most players are dropping 1 Farseer, but then you're kind of dropping the
curve a little bit.
Yeah. So a very tough choice. An example, I played 2 Farseers and 1 anti-kill bot in Kingwin for Charity. And that was solely because my first matches were against players that I thought they would be bringing more aggro, and I was wrong. So, you know.
Yeah. So this play here from, I mean, Kaldi was probably looking for something like a Hellfire soon, but he hasn't found anything, so he coined out Loatheb, which still allows Reynad to pay 5 mana for a backstab and trade away the Earthen Ring Farseer. So it's still not too bad.
Yeah.
It's still not too bad.
It's very important for the Rogue to maintain board control against control decks, so I like the play. The backstab for 5 mana
definitely good,
was definitely justifiable.
No, definitely a good play. It's kind of, it feels awkward, but at the same time, do you really want to overextend into a handlock or a Warlock with Shadow Flames and potential insta-board wipes?
I don't think so. So now the question for Reynad is, do you use Sap on the egg? You know that the mid-range Warlock is playing Powerwhelmings and Abusive Surgeons, so you might kind of be fearing that, and also there will be most of the time 1 Shadow Flame, so you can't really. I think when you're facing a Warlock which archetype is only bringing 1 Shadow Flame, you can't really play around Shadow Flame. You just go like, you know.
Yeah, you have to play it as though exactly. You can't play around things you can't beat, right? Rule number 1 of Hearthstone. If you know you can't beat something, just hope he doesn't have it. Yeah, if it's impossible for you to beat it.
So he left the egg, and this might be a really
this is a bit awkward because there is, you know, Powerwhelming with Shadow Flame Coil. That's a full mana saturation play.
What about 2 Powerwhelming Shadow Flame?
Just to deal 8 damage?
Yeah.
I don't know if you really need to, because you still keep the 4/4 in the end. Like, you can clear the entire board with just 1 Shadow Flame. He attacked with the egg in 1 Violet Teacher, and then Shadow Flame.
This might be the better outcome, just because there's an anti-kill bot in the Rogue's hand. So that 8 damage to the face with the Powerwhelming will be kinda not important at all at this point of the game.
I think the Warlock wants to exhaust the Rogue's options, but that's not gonna happen.
Oh, wow.
Reynad just sprinting back to full hand. This is a really passive play, but I guess it's somewhat understandable. I thought he was going to prep it, but then again, which minions are you gonna get? Unless you top deck SI7 and Backstab, that would have been very weak. So very slow play, but it's still somewhat viable. If he manages to get a good Blade Flurry eventually, this could pay off.
Very interesting choice that Reynad didn't use the prep for the sprint. So it's like, you know, he wants to keep the prep to get more value out of the turn when he has to deal damage.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be trying to get himself the biggest possible Blade Flurry ever.
Yeah, that's very important.
He's got 2 deadly poisons and a Tinker's Sharp Sword. Well, that can only work one day. He's just got to hold on to them. Yeah, do you... wow, this is a bit awkward. If you drop the anti-heal bot, any of the minion that attacks it is going to be more... I mean, Fan of Knivesable, I guess. There is that. Otherwise, this is kind of mediocre, honestly. Ah, there it goes.
Well,
Hello.
you need to keep the sap for the Mal'Ganis or whatever will pop out of the Void Color, right? So
Well, yeah, you could even be even more annoying and just, you know, you eviscerate the Void Caller eventually, and then you kill Mal'Ganis with a big Blade Flurry.
don't you think that that's kind of a loss of damage when there's to use Blade Flurry when there's Mal'Ganis on the board? You can deal then the damage to the hero.
So it's actually, yeah, that's right. It actually immunizes the hero.
Yeah,
Immunities?
so,
I don't know. Immunes the hero. I don't know how to say it.
I would like to see here a Deadly Poison attack phase, Blade Flurry, and Sap on the demon that will pop out from the Void Color, but Reynad doesn't agree with that kind of play, and I don't know if this will bite him back.
I think what's going to happen is by playing Healbot, Reynad is saying, I'm going to have to force you to... Wow, Doomguard comes out. Immediate value. This is actually almost better than Mal'Ganis right now.
I think that's the best RNG here.
Arguably here, best outcome of that with that Void Caller popping out. The Fen of Arg is going to heal, make the Mistress of Pain just completely negate the life tap that occurred this turn. Okay, well, that's a pretty nice AoE turn.
The problem is Reynad will have to use the Tinker's Oil for that. And he can't deal damage to the face.
Do you sap anything?
I don't... There's so many different things you can do when you're playing Rogue. Like, there's so many playstyles you can go. And my playstyle of Rogue would be completely different from the Reynad style that he just presented here.
What do you think about Deadly Poison, Prep, Tinkers, Go Face, and then BF? No, it's too much damage, and you're pretty much all in on the play.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I would like to see a Blade Flurry done before.
Yeah, that would have actually allowed him to just clear out. But he was probably hoping to get a second one, but now that he has it, it feels kind of bad not to have done it last turn.
I see.
Well, he's gonna go for a slightly longer game here. He's gonna be able to prep a sprint if necessary. Although at this point, it's probably best kept for a massive amount of burst.
The problem is he already used one Eviscerate.
Yeah, one of them is gone.
So he can deal Wind Fury attack with the Blade Flurry, right? So it's basically 4...
It's 16 damage right away.
Yeah, 16 damage right away. So 5 damage of lethal next turn, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be 5 off, assuming no life tap comes in, no heal bot, nothing. Oh, wow.
What a heads up play.
This is not at all what I was expecting.
I actually forgot that Mal'Ganis buffs the demons.
No, it's
Yeah,
a
I was
really... yeah.
What just
Implosion and Mal'Ganis is a crazy combination. If you Implosion and they don't kill them, suddenly you won the game. Ouch. Is Reynad going to take that to the face?
Yes.
Ouch. I'm in pain for you, Reynad.
Or maybe not. But then he loses the damage output
For the Blade Flurry, yeah. I don't know if he can really afford
he's
it.
looking for.
Yeah.
When
So
if he just uses the Tinkers for just 7 points of AoE, like a really big flame strike, I think that's too much damage that just was thrown out of the window.
Oh, wow. So he lost, effectively, I mean, he gained 9 health. So he didn't deal 6 to his opponent and he gained 9. So in effect, it's actually not too bad because he's pretty close to being in a very, very dangerous position. Now though, Kaldi's got to feel a little better because he knows his opponent has probably used quite a good chunk of his burst damage.
So many possibilities.
If this whiffs, this could be a saving grace of Reynad. No, it didn't whiff. In fact, it did the very opposite and spawned as many imps as is likely to happen with this card. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder maybe Implosion should be capped at the max amount of health of the target you're hitting.
What about the inversion? Like deal 4 damage, spawn 2 imps, deal 2 damage, spawn 4 imps?
The problem with that is that it makes okay wait it's not really a problem, it's just that it guarantees value with imps because you're guaranteed to either get high damage or high imps, whereas right now you're not guaranteed either. So by making that change, you would make like 4 damage 2 imps. That's incredible. Or you know 4 imps 2 damage, that is also pretty solid. So if you invert it, you're making the card in effect almost better, although a lot of people might not agree. I think giving it 4 imps 2 damage is still really strong, because in effect you're giving them the same amount of maximum value they could get.
Yeah.
Either way, let's look at this board from Reynad here. Having to deal with Sylvanas, probably not a very hard thing since he's got a sap.
Now it's really tough for Reynad to deal with
sap, dagger, blade flurry. I mean, I'm not saying it feels good. I'm just saying, what do you do? I mean, you could attack Sylvanas and keep your sap, honestly.
I think you have to use the blade flurry with deadly poison.
Yeah, I like this line of play here from him, allowing him to put down the Earthling Farseer, using preparation on that blade flurry. He's already used 2 sprints, so which better target is there, really?
God damn.
This is a crazy hand here from Kaldi. He's got options, he's got healing, he's got a demon. Yeah.
Well, the problem is...
How does Reynad kill his opponent ever now?
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
26 health, 29 with a Void Caller.
That was the problem with those blade flurries. They had almost no value.
Well, we're looking at a pretty good board, though. There is no Hellfire and no removal. If Drake comes out... there is still hope. There is still hope.
So you backstep the bot, shift the Void Collar, go face for 3 points of damage.
But what happens if Jiraxxus comes out? I mean, this is probably the tricky decision is, what do I do about this Void Caller?
I think you have to ignore it.
Do you just sap it? Nah. I guess you could, but it's probably not worth it. You want to get taunts out of the way, maybe? Alright, Reynad makes the call. Sap used on the Void Caller, goes back to the hand. So this is going to prevent Lord Jiraxxus from coming out as a body to taunt up with the Defender for now. Oh, pretty nice stop deck here from Kaldi. Getting one of his 2 Dark Bombs. Likely 2 Dark Bombs. I can't imagine any Warlock not running 2 of those.
Life Coach is running Dark Bomb.
Alright, well never mind me then.
Well, the Dark Bomb will come in handy here.
I mean, this Drake now has to contend with a 3-4, which is manageable, but that 4-4 has got to be eviscerated, which takes away again... Oh, wait. Blood Mages.
That's a shift for 3 points of damage.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount of damage for a 2-mana spell. And it draws a card even.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Okay, so he
This is
can
crazy.
But, oh, he's taking them. Oh, that's interesting. Like with that. Okay, so Reynad did come to a conclusion that, okay, I just use almost every single damage source, and I have to count every single damage. So
yeah, and I like his line of play actually right now. No Hellfire, and he's probably gonna be pretty fine. Oh, ouch.
Second Dark Bomb.
Ouch. This is a good game. That seals the game. 7 damage with a Void Caller and 3 from either Jiraxxus or Dark Bomb.
Yep.
And down comes Jiraxxus to actually deal lethal to Reynad. Instead of you know what though, the Dark Bomb top deck would have been so much more tilt worthy. I feel like as a player, no, but it's true. Like you want to make sure that your opponent is on tilt for the following game. So I think Kaldi making a tactical mistake there.
You're definitely right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Using psychology as basically your weapon, additional like I don't know the English word for it, but never mind.
A tool? I don't know.
No. But yeah, it's a tool. It's a tool you can use against your opponent. So it's very important to use that.
But do you think, I mean, is it common enough that people are only running 1 Dark Bomb that he didn't want to reveal a second one? Because you did say Life Coach only runs 1, so maybe it's a bigger trend than I was aware of.
Yeah, but you know, Life Coach is using Handlock, so it's kind of different.
Oh, okay.
Deck.
I thought he was using mid-range. All right.
No. Well, most of the time, you can't really say if he's switched. Like, I don't even know if he's switched for today.
Yeah, but then again,
If he's
Kaldi
even
maybe
using
didn't want to
all-
reveal it.
Yeah, you might be right.
All right,
Well-
so we're gonna be moving on. So there is now Kaldi's Warlock is out of the way. Since it won a game, it cannot be reused. This is a conquest format, so Kaldi has to pick a second deck. Reynad's lineup is Druid, Paladin, Rogue. Rogue can be reused if Reynad desires, and Kaldi's remaining lineup is Rogue and Mage. I feel like Rogue wouldn't be too bad against those. Do you think Paladin and Druid would be better in
It
any way?
depends on the druid build. Like, if the druid builds a heavy taunt ram with double zombie chows, but I don't think Reynad will be running that. I would rather see that from Gara, not from Reynad, that
Yeah.
type of deck. I think the rogue will be the best option. Like,
Yeah, I think he's gonna have. He's gonna want to go again for his Rogue. It's definitely a
Oh.
thing. That or Paladin.
yeah, Reynad goes for the paladin and Kaldi for the rogue. This will not look good for Reynad, I think.
I don't think this is a favorable matchup unless the draws line up perfectly for him, and his opponent draws pretty dry. No backstabs, no SIs, no Violet Teachers. I mean, the removal is fairly awkward. Fan of Knives really negates Muster for Battle. Like your mid-range value isn't really capitalized on in this specific matchup, and if you're playing a very slow deck, you're just gonna get eaten alive.
Yep.
So.
This might be a problem for Reynad here.
We're gonna
think
see
he
what
should
he's running
stick
though.
for
I'm
the
really
rogue.
curious. Yeah.
Well, it might be also the Shokadin, right?
Oh yes, let it be Shakadin. Kalento brought that last time. Got a really surprising win against Trump, who was probably not expect. Well, it wasn't really Shakadin. It was more of an aggressive mid-range pally, which was kind of interesting. So I wonder if this could be a type of deck that Reynad would bring.
I think it is.
Yeah,
Let's hope so, because I think it's a great matchup against Rogue.
If you can dodge the Fan of Knives and the early Blade Flurries, then it's definitely not too bad.
Fight with honor.
No, based on this hand, I'm gonna have to say this is probably not a Shakadin. Paladin Shredder
No,
and Sludge
too bad.
Belcher,
Too bad.
definitely not indicators of a Shakadin build. And Kaldi's hand with his Rogue is looking pretty solid.
Yeah,
He's on the
definitely-
coin.
You definitely keep the agent with the coin. Oh, he didn't keep Deadly Poison Blade Flare against Paladin.
What have I missed? And he got. I guess
What?
he's expecting Reynad to play a very control heavy. Oh, Zombie Chow from Reynad here.
I don't know.
Wait,
What?
I'm
what
actually
was
curious.
that?
Why did Kaldi mulligan everything away? I guess I.
I don't know. You had like the perfect hand against board control decks like Paladin, like Mage, like Warlock. I don't get it.
Well, he decides to not do it, but either way, he's gonna get a really amazing start. The question is, do you delay your coin to get a Powder Shredder? Because of the current board state, if a juggler hits the Shredder, then suddenly you lose value. So getting a free Knife Juggler off the coin is probably just the obvious best play.
Yeah, definitely.
Good thing he removed that Juggler. Muster for Battle here. And now there's no AoE to take care of those 1/1s. Where's your Blade Flurry now, Rogue? I'm really surprised he threw that out. And now look at his hand, it is so clunky. There is nothing to do. You just use your dagger and use a charge, which means you have to re-dagger before you tinker.
It's very now like unfortunate for Kaldi for not having a single thing to play at turn 3, and
Yeah, the Rogue does not want to lose that board control. Like we mentioned it earlier, but one of the best things she does is she's aggro control. If she gets the board and she can maintain it, and that's kind of an issue now.
so now without any AoE clears, Kaldi is in a really bad spot.
Yeah, he's taking 2 damage. Like these Silverhand recruits essentially read 2 damage because they attack once and then he has to retaliate with his dagger.
Now the True Silver Champion also means like 8 damage to the face or just board control the Rogue, and
You can't have that.
yeah.
If this is Millhouse or Succubus, this could still be. Oh wow!
Well,
Little explosive sheep here, ineffective, but still.
well, it kind of negates the backstab.
Oh wow! You have been. No way! This did not happen. Kaldi must be. Actually, he doesn't seem to care. Never mind, Kaldi. Kaldi, you're a good sport. You're a good sport, Kaldi. So, do you have to prep SI? Like prep, you dagger up, prep your tinkers. You can't even do that. This is so awful. Oh wow, this is so bad.
No, you have to play.
Do you just prep for prep? Like, do you just prep because prep? Or do you dagger up, attack the 4-1?
You can't afford to lose prep without a reason, I think. That's the Blade Flurry, so that's a crucial draw, but you gave that Azure Drake for free.
Yeah, to a True Silver champion either way. It's not like you had much of a choice. Reynad would have held on to that charge for the longest time, I think.
The problem with that Pilot Shredder being damaged now is the fact that Kaldi will have to use his dagger to kill it, and now it's even denied.
It has to be done with SI7 agent or pretty much nothing.
Yeah, and then we'll have to see a proper Blade Flurry, but the problem with that Blade Flurry is that there's a Divine Shield in the way, so you have to take additional damage.
So what if look at this theoretical play where you just dagger up, deadly poison, backstab the 3-3, attack it, SI7 the 5-2? Or do you just attack and Blade Flurry everything and then... Well, I'm still waiting to see what's gonna happen. The prep actually makes a lot of sense. Because he can attack the 3-3, then prep Blade Flurry and wipe the entire board. That or you can use backstab. But I don't think wasting backstab on it is that amazing.
You have to prep the Blade Flurry. That's like, killing three minions with one Blade Flurry and a buff weapon. That has to feel good.
If he finds, like, we're looking at the board right now, and honestly, Reynad's hand is looking a little dry. He got an amazing amount of pressure, but his card draw is probably limited to something like a lay on hands. Paladin doesn't tend to lack cards in their hand, because they tend to just sit on so many of them.
Unless there will be a sap drawn in the next 2 turns, Reynad is fine, I think.
Well,
okay,
there goes the sap. Yeah, this is actually Kaldi's position here is actually commanding. This is an incredible position for Kaldi. He is probably on his way to win with that double Tinkers, a sap to negate Tyrion, unless something like an equality comes up and the minions are denied. Oh, he's just gonna take like free damage here.
This is like a time wolf. If you ever played Magic the Gathering, you will know what that means.
Get an extra turn after this one.
Yeah.
So Kaldi gets a free turn here. 2 mana, get an extra turn after this one. Reynad just skipped his entire turn, and we see Kaldi going in for maximum amounts of damage here. I think that is 13 damage dealt. Or even more than that, right? No, 14. Wow. Well, yeah, that is it for... Well, Reynad needs to find... Actually, no. Can he even find anything?
I don't think so. Like,
hey, he's gonna have to Tyrion and hope here. That's the best thing that could happen. But now Sprint can give you another sap.
Wait, is it lethal?
It is. Actually, wait. Attack with 3-2, 7-4, then you Tinkers and you hit face and you win.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has lethal on board. He doesn't even need to find a sap. Wow, Reynad. Actually, this is Reynad.
And he
crazy.
Is the new summoned.
Just in case the game goes on.
Yeah.
Alright, well that would be it. Kaldi going 2-0 over Reynad, wins with his Warlock and then his Rogue in a very convincing way. I'd say that Rogue win. Initially Reynad had the board, Reynad had everything, but then his card draw started to lack and his pressure dwindled after that Blade Flurry. I was like, he couldn't actually keep up the board presence, and Kaldi with double Tinkers, I mean, that's a lot of burst.
To be honest, Reynad played really well, I think, in this game, but the problem was his game choices in the first game were kind of too defensive, and now he went the aggressive route, but the deck was not so aggressive.
Yeah, it wasn't as tailored towards aggression as it could have been, and I'm really surprised he picked Paladin against the Rogue. I don't know, unless he's running like absurd amounts of healing in his deck, which we haven't seen. Although there was possibly a lot of healing. Paladin decks are known sometimes to include double anti-heal bot with a lay on hands, but this didn't look like that. This looked like a more standard mid range, and this is not exactly an amazing matchup if you're expecting your opponent to go for his Rogue.
Yeah, well, I think Reynad will stick to the Paladin
against Mage.
Yeah, I think this might be the best deck to play as first if you want to ensure yourself that you will get at least one tiebreaker point.
Yeah, and I think the good thing is, like, I think he might have been going for that Paladin, expecting his opponent to pick Mage as opposed to Rogue, and arguably that would have been a good choice. In that specific case, that would have been a good choice. And so this third game is probably going to be him either going for his rogue, which is slightly favored, or stick to his paladin, which is also favored against mech mage slightly, depending on how the early game goes.
Mm-hmm. Well, Reynad picks rogue.
Wow. Okay, so he kind of swaps around what I thought he would go. I thought it would make sense to play rogue against the rogue to get the best chances. Since if you play druid, it's pretty bad. And now he plays rogue against the mage, as opposed to playing paladin, which I think also has the early tools. Shielded mini bots if you're running those. Yeah.
I'm trying to think why didn't he pick the rogue as the second one.
He probably didn't want to run to... I don't know why. I mean, it's still pretty good against mage. It's pretty good against another rogue, obviously. It's a coin flip. So I'm not... I thought he would pick that. I think, from a statistics... the odds were high on his side, basically, if he'd taken rogue second.
Yeah, I agree here. We'll have to see. Yeah.
Mind games. Yeah, I'm actually really just curious, because maybe the rogue... maybe his rogue is built somehow differently than other oil rogues, where they actually contain more anti-mage. He's got this wailing soul for the face. I don't know exactly.
Sabotage. And kidnapper.
And kidnapper, yeah.
Yeah,
why not? Reynad would bring that.
And then Kaldi brings freeze mage, and he will be like,
oh yeah, how do I kill you now? That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, the rogue with such explosiveness brought by the second blade flurry with the Tinker Sharp Sword oil, I think it's the matchup against freeze mage actually increased for the rogue. It was
because you've got burst, yeah, definitely.
It was really lopsided.
Yeah.
But right
not
now
as lopsided as Control Warrior, but definitely pretty bad.
Yeah. And I think it increased for the rogue right now, so it wouldn't be so bad. But I wouldn't be I definitely wouldn't be happy if I was seeing that kind of matchup.
Yeah, and there's the thing with I wonder if the old Miracle Rogue was still a thing. If Freeze Mage ever came back, could they even win, since Kazan Mystic could be teched in? Kazan Mystic would add to the old Miracle Rogue style. Probably a good way to deal with Freeze Mage.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
So I think even if Freeze Mage was what it used to be against Rogue, just that specific possible tech would do a lot of work for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. That would be a really, really great addition to the Miracle Rogue. The problem is, of course, how do you fit additional minions in that deck?
You cut out, are doing farce here, I guess. I mean, it used to be kind of, I don't know. You could even cut Violet Teachers against Freeze Mage, because who cares? Back in that old deck. Freeze Mage just said, oh, you play minions? I have a reason to finally wipe your board. Alright, somebody's telling us that the players must reset their game because there are some technical issues with the spectator mode, but that's no problem. That's pretty typical. We've gotten used to it, I think. At this point, everybody has.
Yeah, I was really laughing myself off when there was the life coach match against, I think, Hosty. And the game lasted so long that the spectator mode was disconnected by default.
Really?
Yeah, because it was a cap.
Oh, wow.
There was a time cap for the game to last.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and they had to change it. I think in the last update, they actually changed it to to allow the matches to be longer than, I think, 30 minutes or something like this.
That's pretty cool, because I know now you can basically follow players to their next games when you disconnect. When the game is over, you just automatically hang out and wait for them to start their next game. So that's been kind of practical. What other, just asking you, out of nowhere, which other, as a caster, what else would you like to see displayed on the screen from the spectator mode? I'm actually curious, because I haven't really thought about that too much, but I'm thinking if Blizzard wants to, make the entire thing even better, that could be kind of nice to have, extra perks on the spectator mode.
Extra perks, maybe replays after the game to save the replay.
Replay would be nice, yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
And maybe jump to, when you can jump to a specific turn, an example, timestamps.
Okay, so you can just go backwards, kind of like
Yeah,
a poker
yeah.
game where you can just look at past turns and how the things
Exactly.
ended up. Okay.
And well, this would require the deck list to be open to the public, so it doesn't really make sense, the chances of drawing a specific card. But that's too much, I think.
Oh, I think it would be nice as a caster, but since it can be abused by the players themselves, I don't think that would be very
Yeah.
viable.
You got any ideas?
I don't know. I'm thinking about that. That'd be like I'd really like to see additional things on a Hearthstone. Like the point of view swap. I guess I'd like. If both players are friends, it automatically swaps point of views, or at least the cards, you know, in the proper sense. Because I think they're still upside down at the moment. But that would require a little bit of a rework interface-wise, because the way that, you know, classes are set up, or the portrait is set up, it's made to accommodate for the card positioning. Whereas if you flip them, then suddenly it hides behind the portrait. So Blizzard would have to create kind of a new spectator mode interface a little bit, but that'd be kind of nice.
Yeah, but I don't think they want to change the interface. Did you see that really great presentation about the interface being designed for Hearthstone? They have like the whole philosophy behind it, and everything just sticks to being in the box. So they want to unify the whole interface, the whole UI design. So changing the interface for a specific
Right, just for spectator mode, just within it, like the spectator mode, having the cards up top being flipped. All right, so we're, I think, about to get in the game. The two players got their problems resolved, I believe, as far as I'm aware. So it is Mech Mage from Kaldi here against Reynad's Rogue that we saw earlier.
So the explosive opener, Mech Warper double Clockwork Gnome.
On turn 1.
Do you think that's the way to go against a Rogue
think
without a coin?
This is so insane.
And Reynad mulligan away.
And turn 2 Spider Tank. What?
Well, I think he was...
Prep fan of knives?
Yeah, he was feeling that kind of opener for Rogue.
Okay, he must have been afraid of the prep fan of knives to insta-wipe his 1/1s.
Well, to be honest, he got a better draw than 2 Clockwork Gnomes. Like turn 2 Mech Warper into an
Mech Warper into an Oiotron. Yeah, double Mech Warper and Oiotron. There's no AoE in Reynad's hand. He mulliganed away the fan of knives.
So the preemptive attack on the Cogmaster is really nice, but the problem is there's one counter to it. And that's exactly what will happen.
Yeah, and that's kind of unfortunate for Reynad. He made a good call, but it's not going to pay off as much as he'd like to. And this is probably the most insane opener for Mech Mage.
Oh.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than this, unless Reynad finds some kind of Blade Flurry right now.
Yeah,
and he didn't.
The Blade Flurry next turn, basically. So you pop the Divine Shield and play Farseer. And
I like that play. You could even, or you
maybe
could Blood Mage
Falnos.
backstab. Yeah, Blood Mage backstab.
Blood Mage Falnos with backstab seems to be the better choice here.
So Reynad uses his last dagger charge, which means he's not setting up for Blade Flurry in the immediate sense. That's pretty obvious.
There's no way. Unless the Falnos will draw a prep, and the next card will be Blade Flurry.
Am I looking at this? A Harrison Jones and Mech Mage?
So, and there's a Water Elemental, so we can assume there's also a Blinktron in this deck.
I think it makes too much sense. I am liking this.
It's a great synergy. And you know what's funny? The first person to use Water Elementals and Blinktron in one deck, in Mech Mage, I mean, was Reynad.
Yeah, the first person I saw at a tournament do that was actually Reynad. So we see the Earthring Farseer coming out, trading against a 1-drop, if at all. But I think it's too risky to let it live, assuming a good board wipe comes up.
You just play Water Elemental and that's it. You kind of deny Rogue any type of attacks and value Blade Flurries from the upcoming turn.
You basically force him to sap it. If he doesn't sap the Water Elemental, then again, Anti-Killbot, if it worked at all, could be used on the Water Elemental. Like if the Water Elemental attacked it, that could have also worked. Whoa,
I think the sap is worth it.
Yeah, you basically stall the Water Elemental for as long as possible. If Reynad gets a good weapon, it's not gonna last very long.
And his second Annoyatron. Well, that's annoying.
Is it now? Well, this has been my ladder experience for the past month. I don't know about you, but for the past month now. Alright, so Reynad goes for the Deadly Poison. I think at this point, it's not like he has much of a choice. He can wipe the entire board by trading away his Farseer.
Well, he will use Eviscerate rather than his Farseer, I think.
He can do both though. He doesn't have enough mana.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, sorry. I'm stupid.
No, I
Yeah.
just didn't see it. It's okay. All right, so Kaldi though, this is a really awkward. Oh wow, he actually top decks the Water Elemental to curve with Hero Power. This is probably not what Reynad wanted to see at all. He could still get out of it by getting a good 2 damage out. This is not it. This is most definitely not it.
We'll have to drop the Violet Teacher here and just Dagger Up. Dagger Up doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because you just lose the dagger. But
Yeah.
I mean, eviscerating is your only way to make sure the Violet Teacher is going to take it away. But that's a lot of damage wasted. I guess you can't really argue when you're in that position, though. You know, beggars don't get to decide what happens.
Oh, that's harsh.
General. Yeah, but that's kind of the position he's in right now. He's trying to find answers, but nothing is going on. And Dr. Boom, oh, Blinktron, hello. This is a really awesome hand for Kaldi for a Freeze Mage. For a Mech Mage.
I don't think
I'm actually
so.
I like looking at this. No, I don't, it's not necessarily good, but it's fun to look at.
No, that's game, I think. Even with the heal bot, you can't do anything. I
Wait,
think.
what if you
Well, the Violet Teacher is kind of
Eviscerate
anti-synergy.
Tinkers? In Loatheb and Eviscerate is somewhat playable. You deal with Dr. Boom. But that Elemental... That Elemental...
The problem is that Kaldi has basically an Ashen of Lore in his hand for 5 points of mana.
which he's going to use right now, and Reynad is probably going to be quite surprised. We don't see it on his image because he's actually in China. It's like 2 a.m. Guessing he doesn't want to turn on the cam, but he must be a little surprised by this Harrison Jones. I mean, it's not a very common card you see in Mech Mage at all.
Maybe not Reynad is playing. We have no camera though.
Da-na-na-na. I think a Canadian guy went to China. I know Dog went there to help them, like to play with them. So maybe Dog is actually playing Reynad's match right now. We will never know.
Yeah, I don't see a way out for Reynad here.
Yeah, me neither.
The Fireball is just too much value. I mean, face value. And
This guy's toast.
Mage at 27 points of life. Rogue still being frozen. Oh!
My name is Boombot. I'm a fair card. Alright, so Fireball to the face.
And Fireball
That's
to
gonna
the
seal
face.
it. Double Fireball. This is kind of like the double top deck. Back-to-back top deck. And that means Kaldi is gonna go 3-0 against the Lord of the Sodium, NACL. So we'll actually see Reynad go 3-0. So it's not really a big deal. I just want to point it out. Congrats on Kaldi for winning. Reynad, unfortunately, not getting any tiebreaker points for this, but it's a round-robin tournament, which means there will be many, many more games for Reynad to play. There's 8 more matches for him to go through before he's actually, really, you know, he's got his final score settled. It's all about getting